we're back, and we just finished watching 2016's The Handmaiden. We saw this on, what was it again? Prime? Amazon Prime. I just want to off the bat say I hate this movie. I don't know why it's gotten so many positive reviews, and I should have known that I was going to hate this movie because I hated Old Boy. I know I'm in the minority here, but I hated Old Boy. I love violent movies. I am legit a 12-year-old boy trapped in a woman's body, but I hated Old Boy. I hated it so much. And I don't think I hate this movie as much as I hated Old Boy, but it's pretty close. At the end of the month of Pride, we were trying to find a movie. Everyone has blown so much smoke up the ass of this movie, and I was willing to give it a shot. And we sat through all of it, and I am super surly that I cannot get these 2 hours and 25 minutes back.
Yeah, I agree. I did not enjoy this movie. If I had to say nice things about it, okay.
Why?
Well, let's try and be a little fair here. It is beautiful. It's a pretty movie.
And the actors are all good.
It's shot wonderfully. The actors all did a great job. The sets are gorgeous. Costuming gorgeous. Cinematography is beautiful. The kernel of the story could be interesting. The pacing is horrible. Horrible. They could have cut at least 40 minutes out of this movie, and nothing would have changed. And I don't know if it's this director or whatever, but it's like he needs to have some kind of unnecessarily gratuitous scenes in it. Like I mean, in Old Boy, I mean, all the crap in Old Boy. I think she's like, maybe his thing is like gratuitous nonsense as art, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know, but.
I mean, violence can be art. I mean, we talk about The Raid.
Yeah, The Raid.
The fight choreography in that is great.
The fight choreography is great. I mean, in Old Boy, I think the scene in the hallway with the hammer.
It was just okay.
It's okay.
I wasn't blown away by that at all. I was like, yeah, that's fine.
And then it's just like, oh, there's the twist. Oh, he's been nailing his daughter the whole time. And in this one, it's like, okay, let's dive deep into that well of perversion again. And the uncle is, I don't know what the hell was going on with him. He was just like, all he wanted to do was basically enslave the women in his life and force them to read
erotic texts.
I don't know if they were like ancient erotic texts or ancient erotic stories. And for some reason, this is just like the greatest thing, because all these rich dudes in tuxedos come into the room, and
they must be paying.
And they must be paying a buttload because they're all dressed up to the nines. They're all sitting in like this beautiful setting while either the aunt or the what was her name, Hideko, sits there in like full geisha gear, reading these like bizarre erotic fantasies. And okay, we get the point. This is what's happening. I didn't need to sit through like at least 2, maybe 3 of these erotic tales while these men sit around like,
Yeah, it was bizarre.
And yeah, it was really bizarre. And the way they told the story.
And I don't even think, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I don't even think it's like a cultural thing, because there are other Korean movies that we've seen that we love the shit out of. Oh,
God, yeah. The Wailing is
fantastic.
Also gorgeous to look at.
Anything but by Bong
Way
Joon.
better. Yeah, Parasite, excellent. The Host, Train to Busan, Okja.
Yeah. I mean, well, I don't think he did Train to Busan, but still. Like,
he didn't do Train to Busan is a Korean movie, and it's outstanding.
I mean, I even like Burning. Compared to this.
Oh, yeah. Well, Burning was another film that they could have cut like an hour from, and it would have been fine.
Yeah, that was a long movie.
It's like, okay, maybe that's like the theme. It's like, we have an interesting story. Let's try and drag it out as long as we can.
To make it more true to life.
I don't know. I don't know if it's making it more true to life, or if they're like, we're gonna squeeze as much artistic beauty out of this as possible. And it's like, no, just tell the story, get to the point. I don't need a 10-minute long, like, softcore porn sex scene twice, like the same scene twice in the damn movie. Except the second time it was even longer than the first time. It was like the director's cut or something.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, I mean, they could have ended it. Oh, we escaped. We're on the boat. We're sailing off to a better life.
Yeah.
No, we're going to reenact one of the bizarre stories about shoving jingle bells in our vaginas and like, you know, making music together by scissoring.
I don't. It was just so weird. And I like weird stuff. I really do, but I don't know. This. I'm just so confused because it's like everyone talks about this director, and I'm like.
And then like the guy with the I just always carry mercury cigarettes in my thing, just in case I'm trapped in a dungeon with a weirdo who's chopping
my limbs off. Yeah, I don't know. This was just so bizarre, and there was no rhyme or reason for it.
And another thing, the uncle lost. Like, the guy stole all the money. Why does the uncle have any more power? He lost everything. And yet he still has like an army of, what are these guys, samurais or something? They're all walking around with swords.
Yeah. I don't know.
This isn't like feudal Japan. They're in Korea. There's like modern conveniences. They have electricity and cars.
Yeah, this movie really.
It was a long movie. It felt like a long movie. Like I said, the only redeeming quality is the visuals of, like, just the way it was shot.
It's a beautiful looking movie.
And I got to give credit. The actors all did a great job of what they were given.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, seriously, if the leads aren't gay, I mean, they're excellent actors. They had me convinced.
I don't. I mean, I have a headache from this movie. It's just so. And I'm not trying to be purposely obtuse or anything. And I'm pretty open-minded, but this movie really just. It was exhausting.
Yeah, especially the way it was told. I mean, like I said, the pacing was terrible. The story's broken up into 3 parts because there's basically like 3
viewpoints. No.
It's not even really 3 viewpoints. It's sort of like they tell the story almost like based upon the plan. I'm probably not going to give anything too much away, but basically the way the story begins is there is a very wealthy man who I guess he married into this Japanese family that's where the wealth came from. It came from his wife. And now that his wife is dead, all the money goes to his wife's sister's daughter, so his niece. So he is basically keeping the niece in this house, secluded, away from everybody. And eventually, his plan is that she's gonna get old enough, and he's gonna marry his niece, get all that money, and buy more porno books. He's just
obsessed.
He is obsessed with like these porno books that have like hand-drawn pictures inside of them. They're like, I guess they're all worth tons of money. Loves a good porno book. Now,
and putting on a show.
Yeah, and he puts on a show for like wealthy, I guess his wealthy clientele who enjoy listening to a woman read porno books
and then get spanked.
Yeah, there's some whipping scenario going on there. They don't go too much into detail with that, but the thing with the puppet was very bizarre. This giant wooden mannequin puppet. I don't know if she's being like penetrated by the puppet while it's being pulled up into the sky.
I don't know either.
Or if she's just straddling it. I don't know. They don't really get that too much into it, but it's like, okay, that's bizarre, and I don't understand why people would be amazed. That's the thing. The audience is just just weird, perverted men. Anyway, it turns out that there's a guy who's pretending to be a Japanese count.
Yes.
Who ingratiated himself to the uncle. And what the plan is that the uncle is like, he's going to pretend to sell books to these perverted men, but he actually just sells copies of them that the count makes. So they're not the genuine article. So he's basically getting money and not losing anything. The Japanese count, however, is actually a Korean con man who has like a little gang.
Right.
And he decides, okay, here's my plan. I'm going to get a handmaiden, or get the niece a handmaiden. And the handmaiden is going to be like my inside person. I'm going to go to the house because the uncle loves me because I make the porno book copies. And I'm going to seduce the niece. The handmaiden's sort of put in the good word for me.
Be my cheerleader.
The little whisper in the ear. Oh, look, your fingernails have grown so long since the count show.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means. It's probably some sort of Korean cultural thing. Apparently, when a woman is turned on, her fingernails and hair grow. Who knows? But that's the plan. And then once he's going to wait for the uncle to go away. He's going to bring her to Japan. He's going to marry her, get the fortune, cash in the fortune, and then commit her to a mental hospital. That's the plan. And we're basically told this plan as it sort of evolves, where you find out that, oh, nobody's really as innocent as they seem. Everybody's double-crossing each other. The handmaiden falls in love with
the
heiress, but maybe she didn't really fall in love. Oh, but she actually did. And maybe the heiress isn't this innocent little a victim. Maybe she's a cold-blooded sociopath. Maybe the count is there's something up with him too. It was basically the same story told 3 different ways. You could have done it in one go. You could have had us like figure things out rather than be so one-sided with each telling that we had to have another telling. Pacing was just terrible. It was pretty much a simple story of like a triple cross, and somehow they dragged that out for 2.5 hours. They got weird, perverted bedtime stories in there. They got extended cut softcore porn scenes in there. They got implications that somebody may have been raped by an octopus. Oh, God.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I didn't know this, but this movie is based on a novel called Fingersmith by Sarah Walters.
Yeah, I saw that in the credits.
And Fingersmith was a TV miniseries in 2005. And the description for that is, in Victorian England, Sue, a young thief, participates in a scam to defraud a rich heiress by becoming her maid. Things take an unexpected turn, and Sue's plan goes horribly wrong. I'm sure Fingersmith is way better than The Handmaiden.
I don't doubt it. It probably is. I'm not going to search it out, though.
Okay.
Well, I take that chance.
Sally Hawkins is in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We love Sally Hawkins. Mrs. Brown.
Mrs. Brown. Yeah, hopefully Mrs. Brown isn't doing anything with Jingle Bells up the coochie.
I doubt that. I doubt that.
Jingle Bells.
Charles Dance is in it, too.
Ah, well, they got all the upper crusties.
And this Sarah Waters also wrote The Little Stranger, that movie with Donald Gleason that was on.
The Little Stranger.
And my girlfriend, what's her name? Ruth Wilson, isn't it?
Oh, the snake face.
She doesn't have a snake face.
She's something very Ophidian about her appearance.
I'm not speaking to you. All right, well, getting back to this movie.
I don't know. Let's just wrap this thing up. It's not good.
It's not good.
Don't watch it unless you're like some like horny teenager or something.
And even then,
you have a lot of patience. A lot of patience.
Seriously, if you want to watch porn, go watch porn. No judgment. Listen, if that's your thing, then go watch it. You don't have to watch this movie. It doesn't have to be artsy. It doesn't have to be this, that, and the other thing.
It's not like the stuff, the other stuff that was going on was really that interesting.
No, it wasn't.
Like I said, this is a basic sort of like triple cross heist type movie where everybody's betraying everybody.
Yeah.
I just think that they could have tightened up the story. They could have cut out a lot of what was going on in the movie. There was just a lot of repetition. I think maybe that's what it is. It was like
right, because you were told the same story.
You're told the same story
multiple times in
different ways, and so there's just everything is repeated 3 times.
Yeah,
and each time you learn something else a little bit extra, but you're still going over all of the other stuff that you've already seen. It's like so much redundancy, and I think if they would have gotten rid of all of that.
And just made it a linear story.
Just made it a linear story and like gave clues to the stuff that you didn't know was happening, or maybe like just flashed back for a few seconds when it was relevant to that particular point in time, then it probably wouldn't have been that bad.
Possibly.
Because like I said, the kernel of the story is actually pretty interesting. It's beautiful. It's well acted. It's just torture to get through.
And I feel like other film. I mean, I can't think of anybody right now because I'm still surly about this film watch experience. But I'm sure there's other movies that have done this same story in a better way. The double cross and the double cross.
Yeah, there's countless stories that have done this way better than this. This was seriously incredibly redundant.
And nobody explained to me why this director is good. I don't care at this point. I really don't.
I don't get it either. I think he just appeals to. He either disgusts or titillates.
Like Mr. Wick.
As Mr. Wick would say. Okay.
Okay. So, numbers.
I'm going to give this like a 4. I mean, I got to give credit to it's beautiful. It's well acted. It's just horribly redundant, unnecessarily gratuitous. Yeah, and
we're not prudes. That's the weird thing, because we're not like.
I have no problem if there's a sex scene in a movie or anything, but
yeah, but
this was a little too much. Like I was not expecting, basically softcore porn. It's like when you're flipping through the channels at 11 o'clock at night,
Cinemax,
and you hit like Showtime or Cinemax, and suddenly like you see like some guy pistoning back and forth, and you're like, what is going on?
It's not even midnight yet.
It was like that. It was okay. I knew something was going to happen. They're going to start kissing, and we're going to move on. Okay, we're not moving on. What's going on now? We're still not moving on.
It's now been over 10
that
minutes.
was the thing that was funny. It was like the first time they show that interchange between the two characters, the handmaiden and the mistress or whatever. It's like, okay, that went on a little bit long, but then they ended it at a specific part, and you're thinking, okay, that was
a much, but okay,
that was a little much. Okay, part 2. We lead up to the same damn scene. And you're like, okay, they're showing this all again. Why are they showing this all again? And then you get up to the part where they cut it last time. They don't cut it. It just keeps going.
Yeah, this was like the director's cut.
It goes on and on. And then like it's like, okay, let's flip around. And it just kept going on and on. And I'm like,
God.
What? Why? What is
so
going
you gave
on?
it a 4. I don't even know what to give this movie. I mean, I agree with you. I think that as far as aesthetics, it's gorgeous. The cinematography on this is great. The set direction is fantastic. The costuming is beautiful. The acting is superb. The actors are really, really good. I believed everything that they said. I really liked the heiress and the handmaiden. I was completely creeped out by the uncle.
Yeah, he was nuts.
He was freaking nuts.
He was a little over the top, especially at the end.
He was a little over, but it was fine. Like it didn't that didn't take me out of the thing. It was just, like you said, the repetition. It was almost like that second, I guess, sex scene, whatever you want to call it, it seemed endless. It was like, oh my God, are we still doing this?
Yeah, it just wouldn't
end. It wouldn't stop.
And it was it wasn't like you were getting any new information.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know. It was.
And this is, like you pointed out before, this is not a short movie. It's 2 hours and 25 minutes. It is a long investment. I mean, if you are a fan of this director, I guess you should go see it if you haven't already. But for my money, take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
I would give this movie... I mean, the other aspects of this movie were good and plentiful.
I mean, that's the only reason why I gave it a 4. Otherwise, if it was ugly, if it looked like it was filmed with a video camera, I would have probably given this a 2.
Less, yeah. I mean, but the funny thing is like, I dislike this movie more than other movies, but I guess I'm gonna have to give this a 4 as well. I feel like I feel like there's other movies that I've given less to that I would watch over this again if I had to, but I think the other aspects of this movie elevate this, because this really just wasn't good for me. This just wasn't, I don't know. It just wasn't good.
Nope.
Yeah. This is a hard pass for me.
Yeah, we do not recommend this one.
Yeah, we don't recommend this. And you know what? Old Boy sucked too. I hated that movie.
Old Boy, yeah. I
hated that movie. I felt like the hallway scene with the hammer, it was just all right.
It was all right. You know, there's a couple of films that like get a lot of like I didn't like Battle Royale either. Like everybody's like, oh, Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Battle Royale sucked.
What was the one we just saw with the knife fighting scene too? The something of the blade. Oh no, wait, what was
The
that?
Man from Nowhere.
The Man from Nowhere. It was all right.
It was all right, but everybody's like, oh, the knife fighting is amazing. No, it's not.
No, it wasn't.
It's not.
Yeah. People really need to stop hyping these movies that are just mediocre. I mean, this is why we are where we are. Because people just get it into their head, oh, I really like this director. You know what? That last Indiana Jones movie, it was shit. It was shit.
Yeah.
And trust me, it hurt
me. So was the BFG.
And so was the BFG. And I like Steven Spielberg, and God only knows what he's going to do with West Side Story. But yeah, that movie sucked. And I liked Indiana Jones as a character. I like Harrison Ford. I like Steven Spielberg. But Crystal Skull is a horrible movie. And I can't believe there's going to be a fifth one.
Nobody's saying Crystal Skull was a good movie. People are saying that The Handmaiden is good.
True.
It's a totally different.
No, I mean, my analogy was that people sometimes hype up these things because of nostalgia or because of whatever, and it's like, but it's not good.
Yeah, I don't understand why anybody would view from the director of Oldboy and see that as like an incentive to watch something. I didn't enjoy Oldboy either. I don't know. I don't think I've seen any of his other stuff. Maybe I have, but
I don't even want to waste time looking at his IMDb page.
I will say, from what I remember of Oldboy, in this movie he definitely picked up the visuals. Because this is a much prettier movie than Oldboy.
He did Stoker. I think we saw that, right?
We saw like 5 minutes of Stoker, and then you got bored and wanted to turn it off.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, I remember.
It was Nicole Kidman,
we put it on.
The girl from Alice in Wonderland, or the girl from Crimson Peak, which I love.
I remember we put it on, and you were just like, "I'm just not into this," and you turned it off.
Is that what happened?
Yep.
I could have sworn we saw it.
I think you were just tired, and then we just never bothered watching it again.
I thought we saw it, and I really didn't care for it either.
I've only seen like the first 5 or 10 minutes of it, and then
I've seen more of it than that. I've seen more. I must have seen it when you took the kids to your parents or something. I know I've seen more of it.
What else did he do?
Something. Okay, well, let's see. Little Drummer Girl TV series from 2018. That's weird. Handmaiden from 2016. A Rose Reborn a short from 2014. Bittersweet Soul documentary 2015. Stoker from 2013. Day Trip short 2012. 60 Seconds of Solitude in Year Zero from 2011. Night Fishing, a short from 2011. Thirst 2009. I Am a Cyborg, But That's Okay, 2006. Lady Vengeance. I think people talk about that movie, right? 2005.
Yeah, I've never seen that, though.
I've never seen that either. 3 Extremes in 2004. Old Boy from 2003. If You Were Me from 2003. Segment Never Ending Peace and Love. Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance from 2002. Joint Security Area 2000. Judgment Short 1999. Seminjo from 1997, and The Moon is the Sun's Dream from 1992.
All right. Anyway, let's end this. We've already wasted a half hour on this review.
Pass.
And
that's it from us.
It gets a 4 because it's pretty.
Yeah. And that's even being generous.
Otherwise, it sucks.
Yeah. All right. Good night.
Good night.